And now, a familiar name and face to many of us. Roll number 1613.
That's Mr. Shabri Nair, head of the UN Economic Recovery, Labor Migration and Integration for the United Nations International Organization for Migration, or IOM. Leading economic recovery and integration efforts in Turkey and beyond, here to share a message with us, Mr. Shabri Nair.
Good morning. Good Shepherd, good morning. What an absolute pleasure to be here this morning with all of you, and how lovely to see students from other schools here as well. So, because we always give a round of applause to everybody present here, I want us to particularly welcome those who have come from other schools. Please. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And how can I start this conversation and have this conversation with you without really thanking Sarah and Jacob for just about everything, because my relationship with them has kind of restarted as of a year back, and I'm so glad I'm back at school. I was here last year. This is another good opportunity for me to be back, and I think now this is going to be my pilgrimage. Once every year, I come back to Good Shepherd, my alma mater, and spend some time with whoever wants to spend time with me. So this is such a great opportunity. Sarah and Jacob, thank you so much for having us here. I also want to thank Vinod, who's the new head of school, for really opening his arms to us at the Harvard Alumni and the Future is Us Summit. So thank you, Vinod, for having us here. And of course, to the three wonderful people who have been with us through this process from the side of the school, Saumya, Anand, and Hazel. So wherever you are, where are you? Where are the three people? Hazel's right there, Anand's right there, and Saumya? Where's Saumya? Saumya's right there. So those are the three people who accompanied us through this process, and it's been about, Meghna, what has it been, 4 or 5 months in the making now? So it's not something that has happened overnight. So really, big thanks to all of you for your support. You know, last evening, we got together with the organizing committee, last night actually, in Saumya's office. Meghna, myself, and the entire committee of students that were part of the organization of the Future is Us Summit. I tell you, you have such Shepherdians. You guys are so cool, man. So cool. There's so many amazing characters you have in school, each one better than the other. Where's Abhinav? Yeah. And the gentleman who's raised his hand over there, they say that he has the best hair. Aradhna, that's her. An athlete who's just discovered the athlete in her. Nanjapa, this gentleman here has been my escort from yesterday. I always, Jacob and Sarah, I don't know how you guys do it, but I always get teamed up with the best escorts. The last time I was here, it was Hridan. He's now school captain. Nanjapa, I don't know what you will go on to become, but clearly, if you're with me, you go on to do something great, right? So very important to recognize some of these people. Dhiren, very calm, composed. Nitya, Damien. Where's Damien? Guys, you have to see Damien wearing these half-sleeve sport t-shirts, and he stands like this, right? It's really cool because he shows off his muscles. Have you guys noticed that? Yeah? But pretty much, he's an athlete, and he does it really well. Ruhan? Ruhan's cool. I won't tell you anything more, okay? Nina? Nina, who said the welcome prayer, just the kindest, sweetest person that I have met in a long time. Aditya? Aryan? Where's Aryan? Yeah? You dance, right, Aryan? We'll have a dance show at coffee break with Aryan. Ganeev, Akash, Sudiksha, somewhere here as well, over there. Tiara, Dhruva, Kushal, Ridan, of course, the school captain. And there are two names I have not yet mentioned. So I'll start with this. A few months back, I was in one of those United Nations big global development calls. And I've actually written about this. And while on this call, everybody was asked to introduce themselves. So there is a moderator sitting in a physical location with a bunch of other people. I participated online. And we were participating from different countries, all of us from different UN agencies. So at one point, when the moderator got to my name, she has been calling people out. So she said, Ivan, please introduce yourself. Then she goes, Emre, please introduce yourself. She goes, John, please introduce yourself. She gets to my name. My name is Shabrinath Gopinathan Nair. This is how it comes up on my MS Teams. Do you guys know Microsoft Teams? Yeah, that's how it comes on my link. She got to my name and she said, I won't even try. Yesterday, I met somebody. He introduced my roll number yesterday, or right now. This man introduced himself as, he said, my name is, I'm going to enjoy reading this name. Arav Manoj Radhesham Chiranjilal Joharmal Keshoram Janjad. The master of ceremonies. You know why that is important? And I'm so glad, Arav, you gave us your full name. And if you remember, I asked you how to spell it as well, and I wanted to take it down. It was so important to hear you say that simply because that's the name that's been given to you with all the love, the culture, the tradition, the appreciation and affection that your family, your parents have for you. It doesn't matter what your name is. It does not matter which school you went to. It does not matter which university you studied in. Because at the end of the day, there are very few things that stay with you. Your name, not necessarily one of those things, but the legacy that you carry is going to be clearly based on the character that you're going to lead with. Keep that in mind, simply because that is the person that I want to mention as the last name, and that's Leher. Where's Leher? Who is also my escort. I'm teamed up with two great escorts, Nanjapa and Leher. So yesterday, Soumya mentioned to us, when she was talking about Leher, she said, even in the school interview, I understand, Sarah and Jacob, it seems when Leher was being asked questions about herself, she, without hesitation, said, oh, I don't know this. Oh, I'm not good at this. Oh, this is not something I have any idea about. And Soumya said, that was enough for us to consider her as a student at the school. How many of you today have the guts to raise your hands and say, I don't know? Or are you going to sit next to each other and be cool and say, I have the answer to every question in the world? I can imagine some of you characters doing that. Because I did that when I was in Good Shepherd, and I thought I was cool when I did that. We don't. How many of you can also become a Leher? How many of you can be curious and say, I don't know, You tell me. You know how I survive in the United Nations? When I sit with people, the United Nations, last week, this has become a global headlines and it's such a joke for us at the UN. Last week, the UN released a report. It said that this is a UN report that says that people never read UN reports. And people don't read UN reports because when we present a UN report, we do not present it in a language that you understand. We present it in a language that makes you think that you are a fool, we know better. That's the reason why today the United Nations, the ultimate institution globally, that is supposed to maintain peace, bring development, and support in humanitarian causes, is being questioned for its relevance. The ultimate agency in the world is being questioned for its relevance. So if you think you know everything, be very clear that your relevance will be questioned, if not today, then tomorrow. Don't think, I know it all, I'm the UN, and everything's going to be fine for me. The UN never recognized in the last 80 years of its history. This year, the United Nations is going to be celebrating 80 years. That for the first time in its 80-year history, the UN could actually be brought down, could be dismantled. And it is a question that we ask ourselves. It is an existential question. Do you want to be that United Nations, or do you want to be the United Nations that really comes at things from being humble? There are a bunch of Harvard alumni sitting here, and as I mentioned, as cool as you are, you're never going to be cooler than Priyanka. Priyanka Kamath is going to talk to you about artificial intelligence and gender. You're never going to be as cool as N.S. Ramnath. Where's Ramnath? Just walked out. You know why? You're never going to be cool as someone like N.S. Ramnath, who wrote about the Aadhaar effect. Do you all know about the Aadhaar card? Yes? You all have an Aadhaar card? Yes? You know what the population of India is? We are the biggest population in the world, about 1.46 billion people. And the idea is that the largest population in the world will have a unique ID number. That's the Aadhaar card. N.S. Ramnath wrote about how the Aadhaar will affect all of us, affect governance, affect public societies, affect institutions, the way we work, the way we communicate, the way we interact as Indians in this country. How special is that? You're never going to be as cool as Jeru. And the reason why you're never going to be as cool as Jeru is because today he is going to show you how to isolate your DNA. You would have, as Karthik mentioned this morning, you would have never spit in school before as a way to show, as a way to identify your DNA, but today Jeru is going to ask you to give him some of your saliva. You're never going to be as cool as him. And you're never going to be as cool as Shriyank. And the reason why you're never going to be as cool as Shriyank is because Shriyank, how old are you? He's 25 years old, which means he's just about 7 years older than the oldest member here, 17 or 18. And in the last 4 years, he's passed out of Harvard College, graduated from Harvard, did his bachelor's there, and today the man has created something equivalent to Tinder. Do you all know of Tinder? Everybody knows of Tinder, come on. But why do I talk about Tinder? Because he has created a Tinder for venture capitalists. So you will never be as cool as Shriyank. It is important for us to keep in mind the fact that all of these people have come here out of their own volition to contribute. So engage with them, spend time with them, and get to know them. Speak to them with honesty, speak to them with curiosity, and I can assure you, you will be enriched. Many of you in the crowd, particularly my Harvard friends, will know that feeling when we got our acceptance letters. So Harvard lets us know, saying, the acceptance decision is in the system, please check. That's all it says, and there is a link to the system. Do you remember this, guys? Right? We click on the link, it takes us to the Harvard University portal. We go on the portal, we then have to enter our username and password. We enter the username and password. It takes us to another page. Then it says Harvard decision or something like that. We click on that. My God, by the time we get to that, we have a heart attack. Have we gotten in? Have we not? What am I going to tell my parents? Is this worth it? All those months of preparation, applying for Harvard, writing all those essays. All this to say, we still managed to get in, and the first word that you see is congratulations. When you see that word, you ask yourself, what a great feeling. I've been accepted at Harvard. And then for the next 5 paragraphs, it says, you are the most amazing person in this world. You are the creme de la creme. There is nobody better than you. You are the coolest guy, Shabri. And then I go to Harvard and I realize that everybody got the same letter. Everybody got the exact same letter. And then we sit around a table. I was the best back home in what I did. I got to Harvard and realized that I'm now just average. That's a great feeling too, isn't it? Equalizer. So remember, we are all equals in some way or the other. Nobody's better than the other. Some may be quiet, but they may be thinkers. Some of you may be loud and cool and famous, but that doesn't mean that you're the best. I leave you with one particular and I wanted to show you this slide for many reasons. You know, I've had a lot of successes in life. I come from a privileged background. I'm the only child to my parents. Good or bad, I have nobody to compete with. My parents spent all their hard-earned money on me. They sent me to such a great institution like Good Shepherd, which set the ball rolling for where I am today. I grew up in Qatar, in the Middle East, in the Gulf. I went to Good Shepherd International School. I do a job that I'm so passionate about. I was telling Karthik's son, Jishnu, earlier, that it is wonderful to work in a job where some days I come back home and I think, wow, I get paid to do this. That's amazing. And when you reach a stage when somebody asks you, will you do this job even if you don't get paid? You say, yeah, I'd do that job even if I don't get paid. That's a good place to be in. I've studied across 4 continents, Australia, Europe, Asia, and North America. What a privilege. I have traveled to a number of countries around the world. What a privilege. I went to Harvard University. What a privilege. What a great life. But guess what? I've also struggled in many different ways. My father was diagnosed with cancer. very bad time for me and my family. Can you do anything about it if that happened to you? No. I studied engineering for 5 years and then quit. Horrible. 5 years I did engineering. Who wants to be engineers here? Very good. Make sure you don't quit. But if you want to quit, it's okay, because clearly you were not meant to be engineers. I had a divorce. Didn't work for me. I was married for 9 years. So as much as I can talk about my successes, I also have very, very sad failures. But a combination of all of these things is what makes me who I am. So if you think you're only successful or only your successes matter, you're silly. So I turn it around now. When you see this wall between the United States and Mexico, what do you think of? Can somebody quickly tell me what you think of when you see a wall between the US and Mexico? Yeah? Donald Trump! I shouldn't say more. I work for the UN. But why did you think of Donald Trump? Yeah, it's been in his agenda since his 2016 term. My gosh, man, so proud of you. Give him a round of applause. Yeah. And that's Mexico. And that wall was basically built, and it's continuing to be built, to separate people, to keep people away from each other. This wall, on the right side of this slide, is being built. Who do you think is building the wall? Men or women? Who is building the wall? Both. Okay. Is there another option? Men or women? Who's building the wall? Men or women? Ladies, you want to take a chance here? Who's building the wall? Who's building that wall? Men and women? Okay. That wall, you see the women in that photograph? They are being trained to build a wall. You know why? Because in a construction company, when you go to a work site, you will never see women do that job. Who builds the walls? The men build the walls in a construction site. The woman's only job, one of the jobs, perhaps one of the few jobs that a woman has in a construction site, is carrying a sack of cement or mud or sand from one side to the other side. And this is a project that Meghna works on. Meghna goes from construction site to construction site and trains women to be masons, to train them to build walls. You know what it's like to teach these women to build walls? You know how excited they get? Because suddenly you're upskilling them. How many of your own friends who's not good at something, how many of you are holding their hands and supporting them to build something? Hold each other's hands. The wall is not the problem. It's the message with the wall that you need to focus on. Are you going to build a wall to separate people? Or are you going to help empower women to build walls so that they can be better skilled. And that's just an example of the kind of issues that you will have to encounter in life when you get out of the school. So keep that in mind. It's not the wall that's the problem. It's what the wall ends up becoming that is the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those insightful words.